Hi students, we've learnt about a lot of things in this chapter related to electricity. In this particular lesson, we will summarize whatever we have learned in the last few lessons related to electricity. So let's proceed and look at a summary. We started off this chapter by first learning what electric current is. We learned that electric current is the charge that flows through a given area of cross section in 1 second. It's basically the rate of flow of electrons, but the direction of current is taken to be opposite to the direction of the flow of electrons. We also learned that electric current is the flow of positive charge. We also learned that the unit of electric current is ampere. 1 ampere is the current produced when 1 coulomb of charge flows through a given area of cross section in 1 second. The charge on one single electron is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulombs. We learned that electric current is measured by a device called the ammeter. The ammeter is always connected in series in a circuit. The current is generally measured in milliamperes and microamperes because ampere is a very large unit of electric current. Then we went on to learn about something called potential difference. Potential difference is the pull, that makes the charge flow in the circuit. Understood? A battery is connected in the circuit only because it provides potential difference in the circuit. The work done in moving a 1 coulomb charge from the positive terminal to the negative terminal of the battery is called potential difference. Potential difference is the work done per unit charge, in moving the charge around the circuit. The unit of potential difference is volts, that of work done is joules, and that of charge is coulombs. We learned that a voltmeter measures potential difference. It is always connected in parallel in a circuit. Then we learnt about different electric symbols, used to represent different components in electric circuits. Some of the most important symbols we learnt were the symbols for electric cell and the symbol for an electric resistance. This is the symbol for an electric resistor. In the same chapter, we also learnt about the symbols for an ammeter and a voltmeter. This is the symbol of an ammeter. This is the symbol of a voltmeter. We also learned that of something called the Ohm's law. According to Ohm's law, if the potential difference across a wire is V volts and the current flowing through it is I, then V equal to IR. The potential difference is proportional to the electric current and R is the constant of proportionality. R also represents the resistance offered by the wire to the flow of electric current. It's called resistance. So when there is high resistance, then less current flows, and when there is less resistance, more current flows in the circuit. I is V by R. So as R increases, I decreases. The unit of resistance is ohm, and 1 ohm is 1 volt per 1 ampere. We also conducted an experiment, to verify Ohm's law. In this experiment, we varied potential difference and observed the value of current in the circuit. And we noted that current and voltage were proportional to each other, and that verified Ohm's law. Good conductors of electricity allow high current to pass and they have low resistance. Resistors are medium conductors of electricity. Medium current passes through them and they have medium resistance. Insulators do not allow current to pass through them and they have extremely high resistance. The formula for resistance is also rho L by A. Rho is a property of every material. It's called resistivity. L is the length of the wire and A is the area of cross section of the wire. The unit of resistivity is ohm meter and it is the property of the individual material. The resistivity is very low in the case of metals, so they are good conductors. It is medium in the case of metal mixtures called alloys, and it is the highest for insulators. Resistivity is of the range of 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meters for metals. It is around 10 raised to minus 6 ohm meters for alloys and 10 raised to 12 ohm meters for insulators. We then learnt about different ways to connect resistors. We can connect resistors in series and in parallel. In series, resistors are connected one after the other, end to end, in the same loop. The current passing through the resistances is the same in the case of a series circuit. In the case of parallel circuits, all resistances are connected between 2 points, like this. In a series circuit, the current is common across all resistors. The combined value of the resistors, that is one single resistor that can replace all the series resistors, is R1 plus R2 plus R3, the sum of all the resistances. The potential difference across each resistor is different, and it can be obtained by applying Ohm's law across each resistance. In the case of a series circuit, R is R1 plus R2 plus R3, where R is the equivalent resistance. In the case of a parallel circuit, however, the current passing through each resistance is different, and it can be calculated by Ohm's law. The potential difference across each resistance, however, is exactly the same. V1 is V2 equal to V3 is V. The equivalent resistance in the case of a parallel circuit can be calculated by the formula 1 by R is 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3, where R is the equivalent resistance. In the next lesson, we learnt how heat was generated in a circuit. Heat is generated because electrons, collide with the positive particles present in resistances, and therefore they make them vibrate faster. This creates heat in the wire. We learned that power generated in a resistance circuit is Vi equal to V square by R equal to I square R, and the heat generated is VIT equal to V square T by R equal to I square TR. Heat equal to I square TR is also called Joule's law of heating. There are many applications of the heating effects of current. When current passes through a circuit, it heats up the circuit. The most common application is the electric bulb. The filament in the electric bulb gets heated up because electric energy gets converted into heat and light energy in the bulb. Nitrogen and argon gas are present in the bulb. More applications of the heating effect of current include the electric iron, the electric kettle, the electric oven, and the electric heater. Of course, excessive current can always damage an appliance, so we use a device called a fuse. A fuse is connected in series in the circuit, and it melts, when excessive current is passed through the circuit. And when the fuse melts, clearly the circuit is broken. So a fuse protects appliances by melting when there is excessive current. We then learnt about electric power. Electric power is the net electric energy consumed per unit time. The formula for electric power is Vi. The electric power developed per resistance is V square by R or I square R. The unit of electric power is watt. Generally, energy is measured in watt hours or kilowatt hours for commercial use. 1 watt hour is 3600 joules and 1 kilowatt hour is 3600 kilojoules. In our homes, 1 kilowatt hour is used as one particular unit. So whenever we talk about energy in our homes, we talk about the number of units or the number of kilowatt hours. 1 watt hour is the energy consumed by a 1 watt device in 1 hour. 1 kilowatt hour is the energy consumed by a 1 kilowatt device in 1 hour. So basically that is what we learned in this chapter. Hope you enjoyed the entire chapter. Let's move on to the next one.